excerpts from my memoir toward the end of the book. They need a little setup. So the first one, it's 1984. I'm 19 years old, home from college on winter break. This scene picks up at the end of my first date with a guy I've had a major crush on since I was 14, and this guy happens to be a very close friend of my older brother, Danny. When he dropped me off in the wee hours of the morning, we made out for a while in the front seat of his light blue Corona. His soft, gentle mouth roamed from my lips to my eyelids, my neck, and the tip of my nose. As we kissed, I prayed hard that he wouldn't push for more, because I knew I wouldn't be able to resist. Then I'd hate myself for being so easy on the first date and ruining any chance that he might see me as a potential girlfriend, and not just an easy lay. When he pulled his face tenderly away from me and said he had to go, he had to be at work in just a few hours, an odd mix of relief and disappointment swirled inside me. Later, alone in my bed, I replayed every word, every nuance, every moment of the night, examining each for meaning, desperately trying to discern reality from fantasy. How does he feel? How do I feel? Is this real, or am I just instilling some kind of emotion that's not really there into the situation again? My thoughts roller coasted frantically as I weighed the possible scenarios that might play out from here. Euphoria as I entertained the possibility that he might actually like me as much as I liked him. Immediately followed by terror as I glimpsed the impending plunge into despair if it turned out this was just another one of my self-delusions. Tossing and turning, my heart raced and my mind whirled. Eventually, I calmed myself down with some slow, deep breaths and grounded myself once more in my rational mind. I'll just play it cool and not get my hopes up, I told myself. I spent the whole next day, Christmas Eve, convincing myself that I wouldn't hear from him again for at least a few days, if ever, and that was a good thing. He's on the rebound. I'll be going back to Binghamton in a few weeks. This can't work, let it go. Then, in the late afternoon, he stopped by. Dan's still sleeping, I told him when I answered his knock at the side door. I'm not here for Danny, I just stopped by to give you this, he said, holding up a gift-wrapped box. That's so sweet of you, I said. He didn't call, he came by, and with a gift no less. I floated up the 3 steps to the kitchen, and he followed me in. It's just a little thing that made me think of you, he said. He put the box down on the kitchen counter, grabbed me under my arms, and hoisted me up onto the counter above the dishwasher beside the box. Then he stepped between my knees, and after a few soft kisses, the last one on the tip of my nose, he handed me the box. Here, open it. I untied the ribbon and tore off the paper to reveal a fluffy brown teddy bear. It's so cute, I exclaimed. Just like you, he said. I was done for. And look, he added, his arms and legs move. Oh, cool, I can make him do splits and back bends. A flurry of joy rippled through me as I slid the bear's limbs into the positions while Stephen watched, beaming me with his adorable grin. Then he wrapped his arms around my waist and kissed my lips ever so gently. As our tongues met, my whole body softened, and I knew with preternatural surety that I was falling into a vortex I'd never be able to completely escape. This next short excerpt is a little later in the book, and the quick setup is Steve ended up breaking my heart by marrying someone else. Now, 5 years later, he's getting a divorce, and he's been wooing me by phone, mail, and mixtape for 6 weeks because I refused to see him. This scene starts when I finally agreed to have lunch with him one Saturday when I'm done at work coaching gymnastics at the Brooklyn YWCA. We'd agreed on noon, but he showed up at 11:45, and it was all I could do not to end practice early. When the last gymnast left, I went over to him grinning ear to ear, forcing myself to walk, not run. He kissed me on the cheek, and we walked side by side, not touching, out into the clear, warm, sunny afternoon. After sandwiches and coffee at Pete's Pub, we took a long walk on the promenade. It was as if our 4-hour conversation from the night before was continuing uninterrupted. We bought ice cream and wandered into a nearby playground, sat on the swings eating our cones and talking. As we left the playground and crossed the street, I knew it was time to finally tell him the full truth about what I was working on in therapy. My father sexually abused me when I was a kid, I said, ready for him to back away slowly and never return. He stopped in his tracks and turned toward me, took both my hands in his, pulled me to the edge of the sidewalk, and looked at me straight in the eyes. I'm so sorry. I'm not shocked, though. His apparent calm made me think he had somehow known already. Did Danny tell you, I asked, realizing as I said it that Danny would never have told anyone at all, not even Stephen. No, Dan didn't tell me. The reason I'm not shocked is that I know your father. It fits. He's the kind of asshole who would do something like that. Sorry to say, but it's true. I nodded, feeling validated. And you are the kind of amazing woman who can face it, deal with it, and come out of it stronger than ever, he added, wrapping his arms around me. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, though. Thanks, I said as I pulled away and walked on. Tears of relief and joy were swelling in my throat and eyes, but I fought them back, afraid I'd collapse into a puddled mess if I let them start.